Welcome you to this very brief press conference. It is held in South Sudan Hotel Blue Branch. We are in Ibasha Hall. This brief conference is being held by the representative of intellectual of Twitch East County, which is in Jonglei State, and they are going to discuss issues of the community of Greater Bor, which is composed of Duke, Twitch East, and Bor County, which is Bor South. And I think all of you have been following up these issues for the last 2 weeks. Started in Bor Town, or started here in Cherekat, in Juba. There were occasions held by Twitch East honoring or giving thanks to one of the artists who composed a song praising our late hero, Dr. John, and the rest of the prominent personalities in the community. And that one was not welcome in that sense, which led to trigger a meeting of Bor South community in Bor Town. And then later on, last week, in Sunday, the 30th of this last month, October, the Twitch East community also held a meeting responding to that communique, was the outcome of that meeting in Bor Town. As well as we, intellectual of Twitch East in Juba, and wherever they are across the globe, we issued also a statement on the 29th of October on the same issues, trying to point out our views on what's going on, current issues. This all is today about all those summary and what should be next, and what we are seeing as intellectual of the Greater Bor community, specifically of the Twitch East community. Not to take much, we'll have some, this is the representative. I will introduce them to you before we read out the communique on the statement based on the issues that I already expressed here. We start from the left, then we go this way.
Okay, thanks you, Member of Press. I'm Honorable Deng Alier Kwar, former Member of National Parliament, lecturer at the University of Juba, School of Veterinary Medicine. I'm also a Vice President of South Sudan Veterinary Association. Thank you.
As I said, therefore, we'll give it to Comrade.
I thought it's working well, I think. Honorable Juma Rock, Nketa Rock, Senior Technical Advisor in the Ministry of Information, Communication, Technology and Postal Service in the government of South Sudan, former chairman. And at the same time, I'm a former chairman of Greater Bor Youth Association, and I've led them for the last 14 years. Thank you very much.
I'm Honorable Atem Duwadatem of the Pang Twitch North County of Jonglei State. Thank you.
Yeah, Joseph the Dude, as one of the intellectuals, everybody knows me in the press, being the SPLM prominent member, and then we have been with you also in the area of information and media. Thank you once again, and thanks to all the comrades who are here with these heroes. At the same time, honor our martyrs and martyrs of the Greater Bor who are actually sacrificing their lives and soul to have this day we are enjoying today as we speak here in Ibasha Hall, South Sudan Hotel in Juba. We are going to read or go through the statement, and after the statement, we will make it available to all the media houses in case somebody needs a copy. This one reads like: the Republic of South Sudan, Jonglei State, a commentary by Twitch East intellectual on the response of Twitch East community in the final communique of Bor County community. He said, the Twitch East Community Association held a meeting on October the 30th, 2022 at BMC Garden Hall in Juba, under the chairmanship of Ambassador General Bura Jang Duot, held under the theme of "We strive for the unity of the people of Jonglei State and South Sudan." The one-day meeting issued a final communique titled "Response of Twitch East Community to the Final Communique of Bor County," which means Bor South County. Any discerning reader of the communique, which we mean the communique of Twitch East, will not fail to make three quick observations. First, the most significant point in the document is its conclusion that says the Twitch East community has resolved to end its membership in the Greater Bor Community Association with immediate effect and opt to engage with the sisterly communities of Bor and Duk on mutual relations. However, the Twitch East community is free to associate with Jiang, which is the main Jiang in general, or Jiang and Jonglei, and other communities of Jonglei State and South Sudan for peace, unity, and prosperity. This is what they said in the communique. But what we comment is that what is interesting about the point is it is glaring contradiction in terms. For instance, while the event was held under the theme of "We strive for the unity of the people of Jonglei State and South Sudan," it called at the very end of communique for disunity and fragmentation of the Greater Bor people. This statement is not only ironic, but also dishonest. A person who seeks to divide his or her own house cannot be trusted with the unity of the wider people of Jonglei State or South Sudan, for that matter. Such people will always be viewed with distrust as certified destroyers of the unity of people. This contradiction in terms confirm our positions as intellectual of Twitch East community that the issue at stake is about power seekers, not our power seekers in our midst, and not about the betterment and welfare of the Twitch people. This also has nothing to do with the perceived failure or inability of Greater Bor community as a communal social forum. That is the second part that you can observe about this, the one-day BMC meeting and its subsequent communique also failed to make a compelling case as to why the Twig East is leaving Greater Boer Community Association. Unlike the Leave camp in the UK Brexit drive, the Greater Boer community leavers did not or are unable to explain why they are leaving. Rather, they jump straight to the withdrawal of Twig East from Greater Boer Community Association, as if the whole thing was in retaliation to the extraordinary meeting of Boer County Community in Boer Town on October 15th. Moreover, during the BMC meeting of the Twig East, the chairman of the Twig East community could not sufficiently explain or point to the new direction where the Twig East people be heading, and was also not explained whether the Twig people should now pack and leave Boer Town with immediate effect, heading to somewhere or some new destination where somewhere in the imaginary capital of the newfound religion of Jiang de Jonglei. There was absolutely no clarity of the message sent by this group. In fact, the BMC event added more confusion to an already confused situation. Again, this lack of direction and clarity confirmed our position as Twig intellectual that the event was organized in order to rubber stamp a premeditated political position of some power seekers in our midst. It is all about self-seeking and self-serving ends. And that is why intellectuals should follow their hearts by rejecting and condemning this notion of dragging the Twig people into these ingenious political games. Third, perhaps the only positive note in the document is that, what we mean by document is the last communique of which is held on the 30th of October in BMC Hall. In the document is the quote that said, however, the sisterly communities of Boer, Duk, and Twig will continue to cooperate in areas of mutual interest, just as before the creation of the Greater Boer Community Association. Although this statement displays the spirit of oneness, which we mean by oneness, we came together, of the people of the Greater Boer in a timid and subdued ways, it is nevertheless a welcome statement. It also shows that the very claim of having withdrawn from the fold of Greater Boer platform is not only impractical but also impossible. The Twiggies leaders of the Leave camp could have invoked the wisdom of our forefathers in solving outstanding issues within the people of the Greater Boer. And by the way, they are right in saying that the communities of Duk, Boer, and Twig used to cooperate before the creation of the Greater Boer Association. While there was no association as such, they used to cooperate as people of Greater Bor or Pan Bor in the wider sense. And they used to be called Bor elders. For example, in 1981, the elders got together to diffuse tension between sub-clan of Adiok and Kongor of Twitch East. Among those notable elders were our late Nathaniel Ananukur, late General Majung Yunukur, then late General Bulideng Achwek, who was also honorable, who was a member of the parliament here in Juba. Also, late General and Honorable Gabriel Achwek Deng also was a member of the parliament in Jonglei State. And late Ustaz Ezra Majungchol Biar, and then also Uncle Gabriel Danakej, and many others who mediate and engage and did engagement with the true leader and elder of the time, the late Chief Biur Abuelo Biur. People know him as the Biur Nyarpay. Led to the court ruling, that meeting of these elders who led to the court ruling of the contested cattle camp. That was a good example of intervention of elders in the communal issues of the Greater Bor, or Twitch East for that matter. In 1988, Bor elders also came together, and again in Khartoum, on an ad hoc committee of late Honorable Johnson Malwalek, who was also the former commissioner of Bor district, and also became a member of the parliament on the behalf of the Greater Bor. So Uncle Johnson Malwal was leading that group, deputized by Nicolora Manyong Agur, also our late, and also our late Uncle Gong Agir Arok, also our late Uncle Alir God Alir, and others, to address social issues such as misunderstanding around the areas of the marriages and the issues of the political nature of the Bor community by then in Khartoum. During the liberation struggle, there was no such things as Greater Bor to avoid interference with the politics of the liberation. So when the movement started, in Khartoum there were this such ad hoc committee, but in the liberated areas, there were no such things until of late, whereby this one was also introduced. Yeah, then during the liberation struggle, there was no such thing as Greater Bor to avoid interference with the politics of the liberation. However, when General Rongton Arok was one of the members of the military high command of the SPLA, when Rongton was unjustified ability, aggrieved in the early 1990s, some elders of Bor, under the leadership of Majung Ayuen Nukur, what I spoke earlier, and our right Lordship Reverend, Most Reverend Bishop Nathaniel Goranga Anyet, and others volunteered to mediate between Arogton and Dr. John Garang Demabur, our leader, by then. But their efforts were aborted so quickly with the attempt on the life of Arogton and his members of the Guard in Nairobi, Kenya. So this is also an example of how this issue of the Greater Bor was used in solving the problem of the political nature within the community and the issues of the social nature, of the community nature. During the meeting of Greater Board, of the Twitch East of Greater Board done in BMC lastly, there were some issues was raised, but there were some kind of clear messages from the participant. To highlight those, it is clear from the flashback on the role of the board community elders that is uncalled for. The leaders of the Greater Board could have sought a different approach to address their grievances using the wisdom of our forefathers. They could have fared better had they listened to the wise counsel of our chiefs, notably Chief Duoda Jang Duot, who also cautioned against the rushing to thoughtless divorce within the Greater Boer people. Chief Aweng specifically told the leaders or the audience in the BMC meeting that leaders that they need to focus on the welfare of the people by building a dike at home to fend off the floods and thereby pave the way for the people to return or settle in their home. This is the message sent by Chief Awengdi, that you people, the better way to do is to go and complete the dike, because the dike has stopped now in Jale, which is part of the board center, and then it should continue up to Wernyol to complete the fending off the water. So Aweng was saying so that people should concentrate and focus on these issues. Then later we can talk about the issues of grievances within the community. Then that was what was said by Chief Awengdi. Instead, they have got their eyes set on acquiring political power by any means, and completely unfazed by the imminent disintegration of their community. This is what Awengdi was trying to highlight on then, but people did not get that point. However, we continue to say that we want to make it clear as intellectuals here, as we speak now, we want to make it clear that we have no grievances against each others as people of Greater Boer community. The evil that is descending on our community today has everything to do with the politics of 2013. And we all know what happened in 2013. To be clear, our politicians who had abandoned His Excellency President Salva Kiir Mayardit, the President of the Republic of South Sudan, in 2013, are desperate to return back to him. And in the course of their unceremonious comeback, they want to destroy the current structures, the Greater Boer community, and restructure it in its ways that will endear them to the president, that make them come to president, that they have people, they want now to be said, we are leaders and we have this group with us. This policy should not be allowed. This kind of issue of the attempt should not be allowed by the community. Because we care about the unity of our people, we will continue to be their voice of reason. We will continue to ignore attempts to smear and label us as tweet traders, and Twitch betrayers. Some people talking in the social media and talking there on the street that the intellectuals are traitors and betrayers of Twitch. But we said we are the voice of reason for the general Twitch of Jonglei, or Twitch of the Greater Bor. We care about Twitch in entity and identity, and we are committed to preserving it within the Greater Bor household. This community, which is, we as intellectuals, we are working very hard that we preserve their identity, the dignity within the household of Bor. Not withdrawing from Bor community, but within the community, if there are issues, we address them, but not running away from Greater Bor. Then, if that's the thing, we said earlier that the meeting of BMC was not clear and there's no direction. But as intellectual, we want to show the people what is the direction to the BMC meeting and to the Greater Bor community inside, and particularly for the community of Fijis. As we have undertaken to be the voice of the reason of the Twitch community of the Greater Bor, we have equally undertaken to provide direction as to where we are heading, where are we going as the people, as the community. In our view, the answer is to these issues about our Twitch identity is not to adopt an irrational or emotional decision to exit from the Greater Bor community umbrella. Rather, the answer is to show empathy and do something practical about the flight of some 6,712 households. Now, as we speak today, in Bor Town and around the area of Bor Town, we have, from Twitch, we have 6,712 households. What we mean by household is the head of the house. For instance, my house. But I have my wife, I have my children, I have my relatives who are with me. This is what we call household. There is 6,712 people now in the area around Bor Town, and all of them are from East County. So we are saying that we need to do something about those guys who are there. What are the problems that are facing them? Their settlement, their stability. Again, these people, household, they have the needs that need to be met, but also who are now currently residing around Bor Town. The answer also is to be mindful. Also, we have to be mindful about the fate of some people, which is equal 159,000 members of Twitch, also that deserted, that have been displaced by flood. Imagine 159,000 people from the same county of Twitch East County. Now they are scattered in different areas in Yarul, Warial County. Some are in Mangala, here in Central Equatoria State, and some are in Numuli, some are in Teorit, some are in went up to cross the border of South Sudan to Uganda, to Kenya. So this 159,000 people of Bor, Greater Bor, but they are indigenous people of Twitch East land. They are from Twitch East County. They are not now there at home. What their fate, what we should do about them. So Twitch East need to do something. Those people, they already abandoned Twitch East land because of the flooding, and this should be our direction, what to do about them. We are ending by saying we want to thank here our leaders, but specifically the Jonglei State leaders. We end by expressing thanks and appreciation to Honorable Dinai Chagor, the governor of Jonglei State, and Honorable Kenyeding, the deputy governor, for their maintaining peace in the state during this turbulent time. This is also the message we are sending to our leaders back home in Juba, in Bo Town, from Juba here and elsewhere around the globe, that we thank the governor and deputy governor that they are maintaining peace in the state, despite of all this escalation of violence, excitement of tribal issues, excitement of the community against other community, but yet the situation is calm in Bo Town, nobody harassing anybody, nobody trying to intimidate anybody within the state. And also in the areas of the displacement, there's nothing of that kind. We conclude by saying, long live Twitch community, long live the unity of the Greater Boer community and people. No to the leaders of the Greater Boer community, signed on behalf of Twitch East Intellectual, Juba, Friday, the 4th of November, 2022, Yai Joseph on their behalf. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the statement we issued based on the communique issued by the leadership of Bureau Young Executive of the Twitch East Association in Juba, claiming that we are leaving the Greater Boer community, and we cooperate with Boer Duk on the issues of the mutual interest. I will give the mic to colleagues if they have something to add on this statement, but very clear to us that no withdrawal, the withdrawal from Greater Boer community or people is immaterial, is impractical, is impossible. Why? Because we are talking about the people, we are not talking about the association. If the association of Bureau Young in Juba want to run out or to leave the Greater Boer, then the Twitch East is not association. Twitch East are people. And we cannot withdraw from the Greater Boer. But we have issues as a Twitch that can be discussed with our brothers in the Greater Boer, from Gok, from Atoj, from Nyarweng, from World, and the rest who are with us in the state. Those issues can be discussed and we can get a solution to them. But pulling out from it is condemned, and we are not part of it, and we will not be part of it. And the whole entire community of Twitch East, whether they are in South Sudan here, or they are in Jonglei State, or they are abroad, or the diaspora, this is not representing our view, is not representing our interests, is not representing our identity, is not representing our entity as Twitch East people. Thank you very much. Colleagues, you can now start with Comrade Juba, and then the other honorable will follow.
Thank you very much, Comrade Yai Joseph. Our communique of today is still emphasize or a feeling for the dialogue of the communities of Greater Boer. That is Twitch East, that is Duk, that is Boer South community. We need a dialogue. This is our field as an intellectual of people, actually. And again, we are condemning any disintegration of our people. We need our people to live in peace, in harmony, as well as they will live for a long time as one community. This is what we want to see, and this should be the future of our communities, to live in the spirit of coexistence. This is the most important area. Another area is also what has been emphasized by the Chief Weng Deng Chol, that we should go back to our respective areas of Jonglei State, especially in Tweed areas, as well as in Duk, those who have been by devastating flood, which has been happening for the last 2 years. Another issues of insecurity which are going on in our areas. These are the issues need to be addressed in the first place. So another thing may follow. Issues of how do you live together, harmony, lot of work, so that we repatriate them back to the home, as I mentioned earlier. And again, as my first speaker, Joseph Yai, emphasized on the exit of a British community, actually, which is a British people from their umbrella of European community, is yet not been achieved now, and it has really displaced many leadership. Seeing the Brexit was aired out or announced, up to now, 2 British prime ministers has resigned as a result of how to resolve the crisis of exit. So exit from your main umbrella is not an easy thing. It's not something which can be done overnight. It is a process which you need to bring people and engage people around it. And later on, it can also be subjected to referendum. So we still have a way to my big comrade, Biora Jiang, Ambassador Biora Jiang. We still feel to him we have a long way to go. So the exit from your existing structure is not an easy attempt. It's not an easy attempt. It has a consequence. It's a consequence of time, a consequence of resources, and even the consequence of the conflict they may cause. So we are appeal to those group to come back, and then they should dialogue with their community, and also to engage their counterpart, like those of Nguk from Bor source, and Deng from Duk community Denga Ward. This is a spirit of leadership, and this is a spirit of also in the same time comradeship. Comradeship means brotherhood. So these are the issues those Dior and his group should to look at it, how to engage these people so that we live in harmony, we live in peace, we take our people back home. And these are the priorities. Do you know why, again, to say I should not leave it out, why we defer the government of Southern Sudan to hold its election in 2 years and a half time to come? The reason why it was people are being displaced from their home areas. So nobody, and if there are some few people who are there living in their constituencies, then they cannot make enough territory so that when you are going to demarcate the boundaries of constituencies, as I mentioned earlier, some will never meet even the status of being a constituency. So what we need, we need to repatriate our people back, first of all, so that the head count or the census will be conducted, so that you will have enough population to give you the constituency. So if we could have reached for election, for example, or we could have reached for the census, which is impossible also due to some other factors, then we would have not achieved that. So we defer the government of Southern Sudan to carry out those business. And those business, these are the things we should focus on it. One is repatriation, back people home. One is the census. Another is a permanent constitution will be right to tell out or to describe or define how the political exercise used to be conducted in the country. This is the most important thing after then. Then we go for election. Who will win there must take the wholesaler, which has been mentioned by Yai several times. Take it in the wholesaler price. So take your government, if you win the government, you take it in totality, not in a representation. So I'm also to appeal to this small group who name themselves here and there. Let us just wait that time, whether you may meet the political criteria which can allow you to go for election is another business and another issue whom you need to look at it, not to come and disturb or putting communities in chaos. Some actually, why we condemn it, more permanent personnel were involved actually in these small issues for the community to be addressed. So they were looking at a political platform so that they air out their political views. No, political views are not air out always, or should not be air out always in the community platform. Go to your respective political group, as you mentioned them earlier, to go and air out your political views and agenda and program, and then you wait this for business which I have mentioned to be conducted in the next 2 years and a half. Then we go for a political yes, for the political game. So I would like again to make an appeal about our communique should not be taken out of context. Our political communique is appealing to bring communities to dialogue. And then again, we need our political MPs areas of Greater Bo quickly to denounce what some communities are trying to do for the interests of our unity. People would like to disintegrate our family of Greater Bo. They should denounce that so that there are people who are responsible for our political issues. So I would like also again to appeal to our intellectual, especially intellectual of Greater Bo, to speak in one voice to condemn this issue way together so that our people should get basic services in the near future when we have repatriated them back. And I would like to thank the media, and I would like to thank my comrade and those who have attended this important press release of PE's intellectual group. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Thank you, the members of the press. What I wanted to say here is a very small message. You know, as stated in this document, on October 30th, 2022, the people under leadership of Ambassador Beer called for a community meeting in BMC Garden, and they used it through media. And all of us were witness of what they have said. What I wanted to say here, communities are not responsibilities of associations. Associations are for a group of people. A certain number of people subscribe to that association. Not everybody, or not the whole community should be ruled by a certain number of members of association. Treat as a community, Bor and Duk have been together for many centuries as people of one area, sharing the same cultures, as one people of Bor, as known by the people of South Sudan and the Sudan as a whole. So for few of our people coming to say that they are leaving the union of Bor, even Bor Community Association by itself is association. But Bor is land and the people without all those associations. So for any case to divide the land or the people of Bor, the people of Twitch East have their own structures. And it should be done through the structures we have. We have the county commissioner as our administrator, we have our chief, and we have our MPs. These are the legally mandated people to decide on behalf of the people of Twitch East County. Now, for example, Chairman Ambassador Bior Ajang Duat, who is the current chairman of Twitch East Community Association in Juba. There is chairman of Twitch in Bor, and there is chairman of Twitch in other locations of the South Sudan and beyond. So for a leader of Juba to rule out the other leaders, it is something in question. As I said before, Bor has been a land of the people of Bor for many centuries. Example is the father to Ambassador Bior, who was the paramount chief for 20 years. He has been a paramount chief of Greater Bor community until when he was killed in 1968 by our enemies. There was no association, but he was a paramount chief of the Bor community and the Bor land. Chief Ajang replaced the paramount chief Deng Manwala Leb from Duk, and was the leader of Greater Bor community. After the death of paramount chief Ajang Duot Bior, became paramount chief of Bior from Bor County and became a leader of these people. Until when the SPLM decided to go to the bush on the 16th May 1983. So we have been one community all along until today. So some of us were surprised by the decision of the association to withdraw the community from its membership, that they have been together for centuries. To conclude here, we as the intellectual of Twitch East are not for that decision. And if there are grievances, people should go to the table and dialogue. You should go to the table, talk to your brothers from Bor and Duk, and you will there reach consensus, as it used to happen during our liberation days. The SPLM leadership used to call the members of SPLA, and the dialogue when there are differences. And all of you are witness, as you were part of the liberation movement. Finally, We want to tell our comrades, the comrade maybe from who were with us in the SPLM, as Dr. John used to say, that in the SPLM-based government we have many rooms. And for those who need room or need relevancy in the system, you come back to SPLM, there are room for you. And don't go to mess up our communities. They don't know Executive Chief Aweng Deng Chol and Chief Duoda Jang Duot plus the rest. Let's go back to Twitch. Let's solve the issue of flooding first, take our people back, and then we call for a conference in Panyagor for Twitch community. Then if you have grievances, you write your letter to the chairman of the community, who is Maulana Michael McQuay. You will then call 3 of you or the 3 communities. Then people come to dialogue and we reach the successful conclusion. We call on the people of South Sudan who are following what is happening in our area. And as you know as before, please, we request you to treat this as a political campaign by those who are trying to get relevancy in the current context of our country. It has nothing to do with our communities. Our communities are still together, as you are seeing from the communique that we have just read out. The communities in Bortown are peacefully staying together, in Juba, in the refugees camp, and in abroad. So you treat it as just a group of people who wanted to debate the situation of our communities for their own interests. We also want to warn the members of our communities using the media outside South Sudan and within South Sudan. You are fueling the conflict, and you are not even witness of what is facing our communities. You had never been to Bortown or even Twitch East headquarters, Panyagor and other areas. And you are talking there in America or elsewhere in the name of people that you don't even know. You don't know where your mother is, even your father and other people. Please stop inciting our communities. There now, most of our people who are in diaspora proudly pronounce themselves as American citizen or British citizen or even Australian or Canadian. But here they wanted to come and say, no, I'm not from Greater Bor, I'm not from Twitch, I'm not from this. When you proudly call yourself a citizen of other nation. Please continue with what you are doing there until when you come back, this is where you will be able to talk on the affairs of our people. But you cannot talk outside South Sudan. And later on, when people vote, you will be the first person to run away, as we witnessed during 2013 crisis and other crises. You will always pick up the plane and you run back. This is wrong, and we warn you not to do this. I stop from here, and I say SPLM way, South Sudan way, Greater Bor community way. Thank you very much.
Okay. I will talk in Arabic, because most of colleagues here talk in English. As I said earlier, I'm Deng Adiyar Kwa, former member of Parliament of National Assembly, lecturer at the University of Juba. I'm the Vice President of South Sudan Veteran Association. أنا رئيس بتاع الاتحاد العام للأطباء البيطريين ونائب برلماني سابق ومحاضر جامعة جوبا مركز العلوم البيطرية. لو لاحظتوا الحصل بالبي ام سي يوم 30 اكتوبر ده عباره عن ريفير الاجتماع حصل في جوبا في بور يوم 15 اكتوبر. يعني ده ريفير ما ممكن زول يشوف مجتمع عشان ريفير. في ناس عملوا مؤتمر في بور انت تشوف المجتمع عشان في ناس انت تشوف المجتمع عشان في ناس عملوا اجتماع في بور. انا بشوف انه الناس اللي عملوا الكلام ده في سياسه زادوا هم عندهم تنظيمات سياسيه these are premature politicians. لأنه ما ممكن تشوف المجتمع based on reactions. We should make actions. That's why the politicians are called political actors, because they make actions, not reactions. This communique is based on reactions. ودائما أي حاجة based on reactions ما قاعد يكون accurate. ما قاعد يكون accurate. الطريقة اللي قاعدين الطريقة المتبعة فوقه ما قاعد يكون سليم. لأنه ما في يعني أول حاجة احنا ما بنعرف يزاروا التويك كوميونتي ده بيقول رئيس يساوي 200. انا اعرف انه قبل العلاج يكون رئيس المجتمع ده يبتاز باي ليل مجوم بدين قبل العلاج وبيتمشى ايست افريقيا واز كومبين مانجر بتاعه في البرلمان عشان يمشي في برلمان شرق افريقيا. then ليل مجوم بدين pass away in 2020 yeah December 2019. Nas God when the man Jawa Bior has an intellectual of this community now, but I don't know. 1 2 hold the BMC ده ممكن يحدد مصير بتاع الشعب كامل. بلد البور ده عبارة عن شعب تكون من 5 مجموعات اجتماعية. في واتوج، في كوك، في تويج، في هول، في نياروين. الخمسة المجتمعات اللي هو بيأسسوا المجتمع تابور. الخمسة مجموعات لازم يقعدوا تحت كلهم زي ما هم أسسوا المجال يقعدوا كلهم والقرار يكون قرار 5 مجتمعات. ما ممكن يكون مجتمع معين واحد يقعد فوق سياسيين غير يحددوا المصير بتاع الشعب كامل. ده حاجة واحد. النقطة الثانية ده مجموعة ثقافية واحدة، ثقافتنا واحد. الثقافة المجتمع ده واحد. بور ساوث كون من اثنين مجتمع واصلا توج وقوق، لكن الاريا كله اسمه بور. من السودان سفاري هنا لحد حدودنا مع لونر الاريا كله اسمه بور. اسم ده بور ما بتاع بور كاونتي هسي قاعد هسي حاليا، اسم ده ما حقهم، اسم ده حقنا كلنا. والاسم ممكن يتحول لإرث ثقافي لمجتمع معين. يعني الناس لو ماشي مع ياي ولا ماشي مع واحد وده يسوق من برا بيقول يا اخي ده الناس بتاع بور او يا بير براور هنا فخورين بهذا الاسم. هنا فخورين بهذا الاسم، انه المجتمع ده يسموه مجتمع ده بور، هنا فخورين به وراضين كلنا. يعني ما في زول فرض الاسم ده على مجتمع. ما اسم ده ما فرض، ما في مجموعه اجتماعيه فرض الاسم ده علينا. الناس جربوا بالسياسه، زول ده يرجع حركه ما يرجع. انا قدامكم ده كنت في ايو فضلنا ما تابعنا دينجا هنا ورجعنا ماشي كأنه مجتمع. انا رجال، انا كنت عضو عادي في الحركه، رجال في محلك عضو عادي. انت مرت من الحركه رجال، انت كنت عضو مكتب سياسي رئيس، انا قلت لهم نازل يوم مكتب سياسي. بعدها الحراك السياسي ده ما دخل به مجتمع. اسوء حاجه انك تدخل المجتمع في الحراك السياسي ده. وده بيعملوا دائما السياسيين الضعفاء. ده شغل بيعملوا السياسيين الضعفاء بيشوف شكل بتاع المجتمعات ده. ده السياسه كان مجتمع السودان قديم زمان، السياسه كانت بتاع موضوع وطني. انه يشوفوا المجتمعات، الحمد لله مجتمع وطني مشى وما شق ما قدر يشوف مجتمع حق دابور. كويس اننا هسه دوله دي دوله الحركه الشعبيه. يهز الحاكم الناس اللي عندهم مشاكل كلهم حركه شعبيه. الجاب الشقاق شنو؟ ما في حجه. بعدها الكلام ده grievances. I don't think there is grievances between us وناس بور. not grievances. لأنه أصلا السلطة في بور أصلا ما أسقو ديناي جوك شوكور. ما في زول من بور حاكم في بور هسي حاليا. عشان يكون في grievances إنه في ناس فلان ظلموا ناس فلان، في ناس فلان ما ظلم. رئيس الجمهورية سبب كلمة يادي من يغيب. إنه لو في grievances لازم يقولوا تحت. في ما عنده ظلم من بور وبور ما عنده ظلم من في. أنا في نظرتي ما في شيء إشكالية نهائي كده. التمثيل السياسي المجتمع ده كله تم تمثيله. بور تم تمثيله في الحكومة، في برضه تم تمثيله في الحكومة بين نائب وزير الخارجية. ده منصب كبير جدا. دوك عندهم نائب حاكم في ولاية. المجتمع ده تم تمثيله تمثيل يعني تمثيل شامل. ما اللي حصل ده عبارة عن شقاق فوقه أجندات سياسية خفية غير معلنة. ان احنا نبعد نفوذنا من الكلام ده بنمسك انه ان احنا لسه اعضاء بتاع مجتمع بتاع بور، اننا كلنا لسه اعضاء بتاع جريتا بور. ما بنقبل بانه المجتمع ده يتم تقسيمه بهذه الطريقه، والتقسيم ما لمصلحتنا كلنا، كان تويت ولا دوك ولا بور، هو بور ساوث. التقسيم ده ما لمصلحتنا، ونحن ما not to involve all the youth not to involve في politics بتاع شنو؟ بتاع division. نحن نتمسك كناس اخوان، ونتمسك انه المجتمع ده لقيناه كده، احنا ولدونا لقينا المجتمع ده قاعد كده. احنا ولدونا لقينا جريتا بور قاعد كده، ما سميناه نحن لقيناه قاعد كده، نحافظ عليه زي ما احنا ورثناه من ابائنا واجدادنا، نحافظ على وحده المجتمع ده. ده كلام اخير ده نقوله، انه وحده المجتمع ده is paramount. The unity of this community is paramount. بعدك لو يزول رأي سياسي يمشي يقول يعمل دعوة سياسية يقول رأيه. تكسب ناس بور ذا يجيبوا معك، جيب ناس دوك معك، جيب ناس تويت معك، وانت محتاج لمنداري، وانت محتاج لمرلة كويس. إذا في ما قاعد تصوب من الكون الصغيرة بسيطة بور، وانت ده تحكم جنوب السودان، انت حتقول كيف الزول القريب جنبك زي المرلة حتقول ما هو كيف؟ حتقول كيف مع لونوير؟ انت حتقول كيف مع ناس بنجاك؟ انت حتقول كيف مع ناس فيجي؟ تبي ناس بيجي رانا قلت بتعمل انسحاب. ده زول اخوه قاعد معه في البيت، تبي تنسحب من البيت بتاع اخوك، ده يكون كويس مع الجيران. الجيران ده يقول لا اخوك ده فلان ده ما انت ما صلح علاقتك مع اخوك ده. فاحنا من الناس انه نحن ما احنا كشباب ما نقبل بكلام الناس ما يندسوا. من جان ده ما عنده مك، اننا دينغا ما عندنا مك، عشان في زول يقول كلامه يمشي على الناس. ده مجتمع قايم على حقائق. الزول بيقول حقيقه حتى لو صغير زي الناس بيمشوا معه، اللي بيقول كلام حتى لو كبير زي شنو الناس بيقولوا فلان ده غلطان. مجتمع ده قايم على كده، مجتمع دينغا ونوير قايم على حقائق. ما في زول بسير الناس، انه في زول يمشي يقول في بي ام سي. يعني اول حاجه الناس سالوا ليه الناس يقول بي ام سي؟ عشان الناس عملوا ديفكشن. ديفكشن تو مي ديفكشن. ما الناس تقول في بي ام سي يناقشوا شنو كان ناس فيضانات، كان منطقه فيه فيضانات. ليه الناس ما قالوا بي ام سي؟ عشان يناقشوا قضايا الفيضانات ده. ليه الناس ما قالوا بي ام سي؟ يناقشوا قضايا المخور. ليه الناس ما قالوا بي ام سي؟ ده قضايا اجتماعيه، these are the social issues we discuss. ده حاجات دي. ليه ما الناس قالوا بي ام سي؟ يناقشوا مشاكل النزوه، مشاكل انه التوظيف ذاته. الناس الكادر اننا كميه اكواد لسه ما نلاقي شغل. ده شغل بتاع قاده المجتمع انه يهلوا، وده سبب الاساس هو المجتمع عشان يهلوا الحاجات البسيطه ده. حاجات كبيره بيهلها الحكومه، كده جاي صور قضايا اجتماعيه صغيره بيهلها المجتمع. ده الحاجات الاساسيه اساس هو المجتمع. المجتمع ممكن يظهر ليدر المجتمع يظهر بديفكشن. These social things must be addressed by the community. That's why the people form the community. وده الأهداف اللي أسسوها المجتمعات. إنه المجتمع ده المجتمع الاجتماعي هنا ب 2003 كلها فنانين وشباب 18 17 16 سنة زاروا قاعدين فوق يحددوا مصير بتاع الشعب كامل. لأنه كده نشوف إنه تويت انسحب، قرينا بور ما هو قرينا بور كلها يخش في مشكلة زاروا. لأنه مجتمع واحد. بالناس روابط، الناس بيزوجوا مع بعض نفسه. يعني يرث بورنا يو نفسه يرث بتاع تويت، يو نفسه يرث بتاع دوك، نفس المهر الفواحش هو بالفواحش. ما في ديفرنس انه بيت بتاع بيت بيرثوا 120 بيت بور 150، ما في كلام زي ده. حتى الطريقه بتاع النقاش بتاع الزواج واحد، حتى الكلشة بتاع الرقص واحد. يعني اغاني هسه بالابيل هسه لو غنوا هنا اننا جاي بنرقص بنغني معهم نفس الاغاني. The same culture, the same people. Even the mythology of these people are the same. You cannot differentiate. انت ما بتدرس تعرف انه ده من تويت ولا من دوك ولا ده من ماجرة. at the same. ده حاجات قضايا محتاج للمثقفين. intellectual ناس هم ناس زينا زي الاستاذ يعمل ايه intellectual. ده قضايا ده المثقفين عشان يناقشوا بالجديه. ناس يناقشوا قضايا حقيقيه. الموضوع ده الريفكشن ده انا اشوف انه الموضوع ده لازم اننا ما في كلمه استهزاء. الموضوع ده كلنا كشباب نمسك الكلام ده، ما نقبل بفكره بتاع تقسيم بتاع المجتمع حقنا. مش في المجتمع تاع بور برا، واي مجتمع في جنوب السودان ما نقبل بانه في سياسيين سكيب جود دايرين يجي يقسموا ناس. ما في كلام زي ده. وشكرا جزيلا.
Okay, نشكر. We thank our comrades who have been here. You heard their comments. I want to make a very brief recap on this issue in Dinka, because the majority of Dinka, they don't know how They don't understand English and Arabic. Ayen whereby which are mod kukul jam wakena wo jam wo ko jupi ke pan tui jam na de ke pan bor itu pan bor pin ku ko ai tu pan bor yen anangi gol nyarum ku tui ko toy ku gok ke koi ga ko cho pan bor Iran bưng kinh để cố lên cái giam đa này cái giam buộc nó mà ra cho lôi hoàn cái bé đi từ giáp về thiếu cái trục rồi để cho BMC về thiếu BMC đi khi đưa ra giam chỉ cho cái truy chỉ cho mà hoàn cho lôi BMC hoàn truy ấy cũng lôi ra mà kinh nữa ở chia cái gọi cái tiền cái đó hoàn chiến duy rồi hoàn cho lôi tin ở chia hoàn đâu có nó nữa dia hoàn đâu có hoàn đó đi Wenda, ko ko jipi, ayu kulwel ko ja du jami. Biur ku ko ke ja gani ku ban ko pan jing, gol ma nyonga jak, ku den jipan to bumai. Ke tui, wodi la fanyo guru ko ya jam. Or wodi nyu juba buku jam. Or wodi la nyu mading ku lu jam. Or ku buk la loyele ka ya wenda wodia. Jam aliu ko bitin. Ko una mar, ke representative ko parliament agak liu, yang kedua liu, nana jatuh bukan ngan liu, lala cuy ngan liu, kau bikok agak liu, berjalan marah, kecini kau urke jam, ni jin kau, bukan kau jin kau jina walk by itu, ya, kau, iku lelu walk, what pi, what chia bora, what coba, cirang terbaik, wan ang kecil, liu ke tetem, kutu terau, kutir, kuro, ran, baik. Atau mading chogeti ko koy ke a koy to mi ku diar ku koy din koy ke a ko goti buloy ke wonna ngi jiran jene ke do ku te di ku do wan a ti chai ato gol yar ko to ni ci ka de juba ku ka to numuli ku ka to Uganda ke be nyamazi ko to Kenya ka kuma ku won ko jene ku di ku do wan ran tui ci le ba jam ke ni yon cái tiền về, ai có cái abu cái bài, cũng biết là tí tổ, kia luyện là đây cái nâng cái cuối chuyện cho nó gọi là cả mỹ bồ cái nào tôi, mình cái nào tôi cái này tùy, của gọc biết là tí, nào cũng luyện sai chỉ mà những cái luyện gì là đây cái nâng cái chơi tùy, còn cái chơi bồ, còn cái chơi đúc, cái ở coi biết là chạm vậy, cái này luyện walk, coi chỉ tùy, cái tùy, với chỉ tôi dàn đi tùy bên dàn Amadi Greta Bori liu wo ko pan bor wo ko ke pin bor ko wo tue a kira no be man na la man ka lo li mo tui chare ko chi ne yo go wo tue le kin chung en ke lo pi ko tuk ke wo no ko tuk ke ko cham ko wo ko do pin ti bo le tue ki ko tue ton wo tuk tuk ke ko lo tuk ke ko cham ko tuk ke wo no na ran te ko biết được tục các trường dưới của tiếng người, ở trên cái gò nó coi chương coi uốn tờ bài, và trên cái giá bên chân thì coi kẹt, áo coi chỉ phi, còn tùy cái tiền sập, berana wazir, berana ngode, cái coi cái cả cái lùi gì, của cả liệp bài, ấy của lùi là coi chỉ cứ cả cái, ấy của lùi là cái nền luyện, ở trên tới cao cú mà, của bên cái yêu win, của bên cái ý nghe còn bây cho lực cuốn nó ra những tủ nghe cái bên Nhật Bản cho nghe cho cái chậm nó đừng tìm lôi cái bên Nhật Bản nghe cho cái chậm các cái anh chị cái này bị quẩy nó phản bồ nếu của lưới luôn vô là chạm mình nếu của lưới cho nó mà đen vô coi chụp phim in mùa lát nó còn luyện in cái bên Nhật cái đầu bồ nếu của lưới là từng cái của lưới là từng in bị ra chứ in cái bên Nhật coi cho Juba chứ mình kêu vô Juba từng cái lưới là cũ cho nó coi cũ in đen awor ai cũng lên yên chả một coi cục ai cũng lên pin ai cũng lên coi to ai to America của to Australia coi chả một Facebook à chả cái bên là như kia à rồi cha chia cái rồi cha coi cứ ai cũng lên quê coi nhà tù nhà mình ai chia với ai là coi chia với bì ratua là coi chia một con luyện là coi chia với đen cái đầu là yên tiếng coi như kia em coi nhụy pí ụtị yếu coi đuổi đi, puji chân thì liệp được, ku kene in ka ko jala twing kene in ga ku gor wora ngi yo ko ga ko ci lu wayi ku koy ga akor bo liab ku kor ga e bañ ko kor ga ne ran kor ya wazir ne ran ko ya ran parlament ya ra bla wona jam ne ran kor ya ngude ku Quran ko ya rezi ya ko bi ko ya re le koy ga tio yo ko le ci ran jay ko ko ka lekin a ci loy bu ko to ba ci lo ko rom ba ci lo bu ko ter ba ci lo ko la ko wan ci loy wan bor yo ko re ci wo ko yo ko le ci piat ci ka da ko la ci piat pan gërëm ma bi la ci piat be gërëm ma bi la ci piat ke der lo ya da Facebook yena bi la le la da ci piat yena ko ma nyang la da ci piat yena ma jere gay la ci piat ayo ko le ya ye ke ko ko yu ko le ka ko dir to unim to ko di de a te ke ye ke twe ye ga toy ye ga ye ke nyarwe ye ga ka te ke le la ni ke nyu bo ko ke ji ko ji no wo ko ana ri nga e jam ko rinde du ko ci le jam kuranti ma gwer ci le jam kuranti na yor ci le jam kuranti ke ko nga jang ra ci tik to bay ay te ke ne en ke ko wel wo bài bor wo ko pin bor pi go atoy nyarum gol yen ko bu ñu pin ku bu ko bu loy ku ko tin kena ko ci jablo li be do ci na tong ci loy ko bañ wa ke en an mo cier wo ko ka to du ñu ke juet na lu ka nga dunya toy ke tui ka juet ke ci wo ci dong ko am ko ci tong ci ko la mu ka bi ci ke na juet ka cir kana body ka cir kana lian ka cir kana ngabay ka cir kana patuyit abuden di biong lekin wo cier wo ro bre kai bakar ko wo cier wo ro manok ku kai bakar wo kwanto gor yam to wo nang dia jo ro ker ki nyo ma du cheng bor etuk ka chi cir rom kene ko ta ku ne ya bat cir rom wo ma ken ko cir rom kene wo tia kene yen kene jale ko jala bay di guden bu go wen nga jam de jël paliaw guden ci wër ñol ben ngeen de guden ci nga def ci wol ak ci tok ko loy ci jor o ci bakke ci jor ka ke ay ka lebu ko nang koy to den to ko tin pa na yer jam Facebook it ke ga le bay ko bu dinga ko ga pet ku ko may we ke ci ku perke kene nge ka ba le we ko ngi ku yen wala ci gor a ci gor to ngi li yena lokor iran to ngi yeng ku biran jala ko ne pet de ben bu ko ne pet ba ko yen la no ken yu ku le wo way to ko ci ke teki ku na ne ka tin to ya ba ka de ga bay ku yer ka pet ku ge ku le ho to wori wo to tin de ku kuri a tinka pet ko ge a tinka ko to bori panimi a tinka ko ci ku ci la Uganda kilo Kenya atingke ko juku do jirkat akini beloy ke ajam ke bukan dia ke bingu loy ko do bur wan tidung je nyang bin atingke bingu loy kino yu wel ko do panyagur ko do du ka inge ke dani kuting ko ko di pi le beloy ko che ter ti bi ko ya ter yang wan che tri wan che bor ku yin bor wan che bor ku bor ke bor tu ku yin bor chien yin bor ro ke bor diap kena liu awo chugule we ko ping yen wo tu jam da to le li tan ken e lo wan to le li to wan lo yen bu jala bai pan junu ko jala pan bor pan jong le we cha le now ladies and gentlemen we come back this was just a recap note for those who doesn't know how to understand English or in Arabic all the press you have liberty now to ask question but I think it should be only on the paper. We don't want to question outside the paper. Anything come in from the speakers is about the politics. We leave it there. We get it where the politics is being discussed. But we are discussing the unity of the community of Greater Bor and support of the greater community of Bor to the leadership of this state, Republic of South Sudan, and the unity of the people of Bor to safeguard their interests among themselves and with the neighboring communities and the whole in the country and the state. Thank you very much. Now the chance is yours if somebody wants to ask anything. You are welcome. The floor is for you. And you please, you say your media house and your name. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, let them talk.
You come where the cameras are so that you'll be able to.
Thank you very much. My name is Dedi Esgon. I work for Classic FM. Everything is clear, but I just want to ask you, my question is based on the households that are around the town. I would like to know, how is their current status now, the situation now? And you have talked about the need to repatriate them. We know that the place is still flooding. How do you intend to do that? Thank you very much.
Another question? No, we'll go for this then. Or we think that we take two, then we will respond. Welcome.
As most of you mentioned that a small group has decided the decision of coming back from greater work. The four of you, as you are saying that you are intellectual of it is, have you been authorized from the community to make this statement, and how other people know that this is not just a personal statement? Thank you.
We thank Tony from Al Mogif newspaper, right?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for intervention. The question was that you people, you said that those who met in BMC, they were a group of people and they cannot decide on behalf of the whole entire community. And now yet you are four representing the intellectual. Have you got an authorization that to hold this meeting and talk on that? In fact, it's true. This document is not the document of four people like us here. It's a document of the entire group of the people intellectual in Juba. And the other intellectual in the Jonglei state, they also communicate their views on this. What we want to do is that not to escalate the matter. That's why we are reviewing this, the voice. Even if you can even see, the signature is not everybody. The signature is signed by Yai Joseph on their behalf. Even those who are in the podium here, they are not the signatory, but they are the one who wrote this. Why do we do this one? Because we want to contain the escalation of the matter. Two, we are the representative of the people because we are not claiming now that what we are saying, it is what all the entire say. What we are saying, it is the voice of the reason. We see the reason that we call for the meeting. That what was happened in the BMC and what happened in Botown is not the final. We are bidding echoing the meeting of the entire people. If we want to go out from Greater Border Street, then we should go for the meeting of the grassroots up to the politician, the top. We discuss there, then we submit to the entire community of Greater Border. This process has not taken place. That's why we are questioning the communique, because the communique was not debated in the Payam, come to the boomers, or boomers come to the Payam, then to the county, which is. It was just discussed in the bed in the house of Biraswat and said this is the view of everybody. And what we are saying is this, that the community is not like association. There's difference between Tweed East Association. There's difference between the Tweed community and the Greater Border community. Tweed Association is those who prescribe for it. For instance, if you registered, then you are a member of that. But if you are not registered, then you are not a member. Even if you are not registered or you don't follow that procedure, then what is the legitimacy? Because we need to know the quorum. What is the quorum of Tweed East so that they can pass the document on their request. If not that there, if it's not there, Then now we say no. The only way to solve the problem, go back to chiefs. Call the chiefs, call the intellectual, let them go to their Payam, boomers, discuss, come with the name of the Payam. This is what Payam so say. This is Payam Jam so say. This Payam this so. Then now you can see where is the consensus, and then you go accordingly. This one. Two, there's absence of the authorities here in this whole process. The authorities are, you have the community, you have the commissioner of the county, you have the administrators of the county. These are the ones who have the data. How many people in the county, how many people in the Payam, how many people in the Buma. Those are eligible to do this. So this one is absent. Their voice is not there. Also, there's absence of the political representation. For instance, the MPs of the areas at the state level, which reflect their counties and reflect their boomers. It's not there. It's not mentioned here. That this is what they have said. It's not there. So for us, as intellectual, we deal with scientific method of doing things. That's why we're questioning all this. We are not saying what we are saying here for everybody, no. But we are cautioning and warning and awakening people to come to the table and discuss. Therefore, we see all of us here, we are calling for a meeting, the grassroots meeting, whereby all the community stakeholders, they will say what they want to say. Otherwise, if you're not able to do so, for the factors you know, then this what you are saying is not for everybody. Therefore, because we want to avoid, for instance, if the Raswad and the group say now we are pulling away from work community, the greater work community, maybe some people there, they'll say, okay, no, we are not going away from work community. We are the work community members of PGs. We don't care about the Raswad. Now you have association, different people. Now, you don't have the solution for this. For you to avoid this, go back to roots, go back to grassroots, call all of them, let them say what they want to say with presence of the government, what their administrator at the Payam level, then the commissioner at the county level. You have the representation in the parliament in Jonglei State, and the parliament representation at the national level. Those when they come together and talk and produce a document, you can say this one is a little bit inclusive. But if you don't do so, this process has been jumped over, and we just go for that meeting, then you are not talking. Because some people were meeting in BMC, some people were dancing in Sherekat, and the same community and the same people. Then how you say that this is their view? Then it would be maybe will be legal or that the legitimacy if the members of the parliament say now we are the representative of the community, those who vote for us, we talk on their behalf. If they are the one saying this, maybe you can ask, what is your mandate? But whereas what mandate is not to pull out from the director board, his mandate is not to discuss issues or break up. His mandate is to look to the unity and how the people can stay together in different setup of the community. This is what I know. Second, $6,712, these are those households. These people are living there, they are living under difficult conditions. But in terms of their safety, no problem, because nobody takes it as serious. So they are not being chased away from there. But there are some people in the social media, based in Australia, based in the United States, they are campaigning and they are reciting that let those people go. Let them go from there. They do not belong to Bor, they belong to Panyagor. Let them go to Panyagor. That's why we are saying, for us to be in a safe side and your people to be in a safe side, you let them go back home. And then decide whatever to decide with their consent and with their support and approval. So for them, there's no problem. They are living in peace, nobody intimidating them, nobody harassing them, they are there. But you never know, because when these things go to air like what we are talking here now, there is some concern there on the ground. There people may be inciting against each other, and this is why we are saying no. What we have been said by the people, whether in Botown or in the BMC, is not for everybody. Let everybody say their word. After that, you can decide whether this is wrong or this is right, this is your right or this is not your right. This is why what we are saying. So that's why we call upon all the authorities in Jonglei State, particularly in capital Bor, that to maintain the peace and maintain the harmony, and let the people be together. And they are mingling now in the street, they are mingling in the market, they are together, they are working no problem. But yet, we are concerned. Because the messages have been sent in BMC, it is concerned messages to people down there. The message have been sent also in White Nile Hotel in Bo Town on the 15th to 16th, also it was alarming. It was alarming to us. It can cause also some difficulties and problems to the people down there. So for us, we are concerned. That's why we are saying it now. What has happened is wrong. What has happened is not for everybody. What has happened, it needs to be tackled in a peaceful way, in a manner that shows we are one community and we are one people. Comrade, if somebody left something out, you can also add.
Yeah, you have answered those questions. On the issue of the displaced people, as you said, that is the situation they are in. But for us, or anybody, to say today that you move them out of where they are, there's nowhere they can go and settle, especially in the areas of Tweed East. The whole area is fully flooded. There are few people only in the town of Panyagor, another small island, which cannot accommodate all these people. That's why we are saying, with all these conditions, the priority is for our communities and the leadership to look into the issue of flooding, so that we settle the dike one and for all. Then from there you can move your people back home. Then you start your political missions. You discuss whatever you want to discuss, developments and other issues, but you cannot discuss when you are outside your area. So this is what we can add. The total number of 159,000 is a big number. That needs a serious care. So thank you very much.
Anybody else? Anybody else want to ask any question? If that's the case, then we would like to thank you for your patience, because you came here earlier and we start a little bit late. We thank you for coming, and we hope we meet again in other occasions. But finally, we say that we intellectuals of PGs, we are not subscribing to the idea of withdrawal from the Greater Bor community. We are with the dialogue between the Greater Bor community organs and maybe communities or sub-clans. Let them come together and find out the solution. But we'll not keep quiet. We'll be talking, because we are the voice of reason. We don't have an interest apart from the interest of the community. We are not politicians that looking for seat or looking for positions. No. We are politicians, but we need our people to take care of first. IDPs, let them return back home. Those who are back home, let to take care of them, provide the services for them. And then we are not part of any loose talk in the media, social media. We are not part of it. Anybody say whatever they say there. If you want to challenge us, come with the facts, what we are saying here. We challenge you like what we are doing now. You go low, the social media, insulting, doing whatever, it's up to you. We don't mind, because you are right. We are democrats, democratic society. We allow you to go, but we know the fact. Where the facts are, the fact is, board is one, land is one, culture is one, people are one. Yes, we have disagreement over issues, that issues can be discussed and solved. Everybody is there. Then the final thing is this. We still, as comrade have been saying it, in this document is a historical of how the product of one man. Our grandfather is not one person. Even our grandma is a lower person. We migrate. Some came from Bargazal, some crossed from Upper Nile, some crossed from Ethiopia, and we came and settled there in the area we are now. We get some people there. They were Mandara there. They were Zbari there. They were whoever were there. Then Nyok was there. They were Murle was there. We were there. But we found ourselves in that area called Greater Boer Community. For that matter, we remain Boer community with our diversities in the way we talk, in the way we do things, but from the same community. Yeah, the law we are in Kenya, yes. So those are the background for us. For us, we are saying we are one people, and we remain one people, and we still talk. This is not the final talk. We will still talk, but we call upon the city commission of Boer counties. That is Boer South, which is Duke. Also, to intervene, come in, and solve the problem. We call upon the MPs